Hello, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here today um, in this webinar organized by RCSS and given this opportunity to share a few thoughts about our experiences in the Sri Lankan context. And I thank Professor Gamini Kiravella for inviting me. So let me share my screen with you. All right, I think you can see the screen now. Okay, so as we all know, and as Professor Kiravella very rightly informed, we are in a digital transformation. We are in a situation of digital transformation or a digital revolution, which is occurring globally, and it's impacting our lives in various ways, including educational practices. The COVID-19 global pandemic has accelerated the digital transition in education and especially in higher education. So since I'm coming from higher education institute in Sri Lanka, my thoughts will be more related to digital transformation in the Sri Lankan higher education system, potentials, practices and possibilities, with special reference to the Open Institute of Sri Lanka, where I work. So in this, especially in the COVID-19, post-COVID-19, we are in the post-COVID-19 situation. So this becomes more and more, even though the digital transformation has been happening for some time, this has really accelerated in all ways. So if we look at, to give some context to the Sri Lankan scenario, these are some data on accessing or use of internet, mobile and social media, the growth in the usage, which is not quite big, but still it's significant, especially the mobile connections. But this data is pre-COVID. This was in January 2020. But I'm sure these numbers would have increased quite increased by now. And if we look at the global developments and trends that's happening in the integration of technology for higher education, we can see the various types of technologies are being implemented in these years and in the coming years, and the trends, the key trends are there accelerating the higher education adoption of higher technology in the higher education systems. So my main ideas are first to talk about the opportunities which this transition is providing us with, mainly in terms of accessibility, flexibility, efficiency, and innovation. So if I elaborate on it, in terms of enrollments, options and choices for learners, as well as alternative teaching, learning, and assessment strategies, optimization and sharing of resources, as well as administration and communication and interaction among each other. So if I say some examples in Sri Lanka, for example, in Sri Lankan higher education system, the university admissions, for example, university admissions have gone online. I mean, online applications have been in place for some years now. And at the Open Institute of Sri Lanka, in addition to that, we have started registering and re-registration all going online. So these are making use of digital practices to make the administration more efficient. But my main focus is on the teaching, learning, and assessment strategies, because I come from the field of education. So this pandemic has compelled all education institutions at all levels to suddenly move into various forms of digital teaching, learning, and assessment strategies. Now, actually, this was a need to support students continue with their education. As the only ODL University in Sri Lanka, the Open University, we have been using open and distance learning techniques and online teaching and learning for a long time, since 2003. So this sudden move, we could sort of accept without, because we were sort of ready with that, because we have been already used that. But for some institutions, that was so sudden, and lot of strategies had to be taken in order to face it. So, from an educational point of view, what are the potentials of these digital teaching, learning, and assessment practices, which we are promoting now and which we are using more and more now? So, we are always talking about this development of 21st century learner skills, especially skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, and communication, collaboration, creativity. So these digital teaching learning practices obviously enhance this development of these skills among our learners and prepare them for their real life work or world of work which they are going to be exposed to in the coming days. But for this, in order to happen this effectively, the scaffolding or the support is essential. So there is the important thing comes, which is about changing practices. So essentially, we need changes in practices in the use of technology as well as the pedagogical practices. For example, we are moving towards more and more blended learning methods rather than these direct teacher-centered lectures. We are using technology, mobile learning and online learning, blended methodologies to support our students' learning. But it's not, we have, what the important thing is to remember the use of technology is not just to have the conventional practices, use the technology just to continue with the conventional practices. The change in pedagogy is also very important. So how to make students learn in an active and an effective manner using technology so that the learning will happen. So for example, when we use Zoom sessions, for example, if we take Zoom sessions are so popular now, everybody is using Zoom sessions. That's just one example. But if we just use Zoom sessions like this, just to deliver lectures, it won't be really effective. So how can we make Zoom sessions interactive? So there, the need is to design the learning experiences beforehand so that the teachers, both teachers and learners, are ready to engage interactively in the teaching learning process, not just being passive listeners, but to actively engage. So how can we do that? So for example, in my faculty, we have moved into Zoom sessions. In addition to the learning management system, we have the Moodle system. So we do the planning beforehand, send students very clear guidelines, the resources they need, so that they come prepared. The content has been shared with them beforehand, so they come prepared, so that an interactive session can be conducted where the interaction among teachers, students, as well as among students can be enhanced. Also, the need to link these learning experiences with their real life experiences. That is what is called authentic learning experiences, such as problem-based learning, and we use in our faculty the scenario-based learning approach, where students are exposed to real-life situation problems, and where the learning experience provides them with opportunities to engage in the learning activities, using the resource we have provided beforehand, and actively engage in relation to their real life problems. So this I'm going quickly because of the time constraint. So maybe we can discuss later on. The point is the need to move away from this content-driven approach to a more context-driven or a learning based, the learning centered approaches. And here the resources are also very important. And I would briefly say we are going more and more towards opening up education using a lot of open educational resources and open educational practices. I won't elaborate on this, but then there are so many open ways of sharing practices, and these also empower teachers and learners to become more creative and innovative in their educational practices. There's a link given there. I have given a link there where I've shared the such practices we are initiating at the Open Institute of Sri Lanka. Of course, all these things, uh, we can talk about all these things, but always there are challenges. But how to face these challenges is the main thing, because any initiative or any change will come with challenges. Specifically in our context, in Sri Lanka, I think even not in even Sri Lanka, in most of the countries, access is a challenge to our learners, sometimes even for teachers. So there are certain measures that have been taken by the government and the higher education institutions to provide internet access, to support internet, getting internet access for both staff and students. For example, using the Learn. There's an organization in the higher education system called Learn, and providing free data for students and staff. It commenced during the COVID-19 period so that they can use the LMSs, the learning management systems, and Zoom sessions all free of charge. And also there are certain measures being taken to provide devices like scholarships or with loan systems, because devices is sometimes access might be there, devices are not there. So such measures are being taken. And in addition to that, the capacity building is important because the sudden move sometimes need a lot of skill building. So capacity development, um, um, capacity development initiatives are also taking place, and using multiple options, giving flexibility for students to use multiple options in their teaching, learning, and assessment strategies, as well as changing mindsets. That's also very important to support both students and staff change their, shift their mindsets towards these new ways and certain interventions. So I will sum up with just highlighting the needs for this transformation: capacity development, creating digital learning environments, effective learning designs, promoting a digital culture among everyone, and of course, this will need digital education leadership. So we may have some time to discuss later on. So with that, I will stop for now. Thank you very much.